the most recent thing I'm watching is Rome. I just finished it. It's a real pity that show got canceled because
would you recommend it? I have it on my list.
Yeah,
it's good.
I definitely recommend it. So it's 2 seasons. You'll tell that things advance quickly. So we'll talk a lot. We'll have Julius Caesar and Caesar Octavian, and everyone's in a room. We're talking about the war. Oh, big war with Egypt coming up. And then they're like, all right, let's fucking get them. And then the next scene, the ships of Egypt are burning in the ocean. And it's like, war over, bitches. Now it's time to divvy up Egypt. Like stuff like that'll happen. So they'll
sex and violence, right? Lots of it.
So much torture, violence, and nudity. And I wouldn't say the fight scenes are particularly good. They're just okay. But I really like the characters, and it's an accurate telling of like what Roman life was like. Like when you see the interiors of the houses, apparently, the way the streets look, the way especially the way they dress is true to form historically. And while the characters are doing silly things, they're doing the broad points are all historically very much true. Like, yes, Caesar did stay in Gaul until 67. And then he came down into the peninsula and this happened on this year. And yes, Caesar Octavian was the one who was part of the triumvirate with Mark Antony and et cetera, et cetera. Like that's all accurate. But the characters of Pullo and Lucius Varenus are real people with fictional stories that are fun to follow along. Pullo is like the big brute of a guy that you always want there if someone needs a killing. It's there's characters like that in lots of shows. I really like the guy in The Expanse. He's short, but he's real fucking ripped. He's the psychopath on the and if you're in trouble, if there's a scary man around, it's like, oh, don't worry, he's here. Don't worry, we got the scary guy now. He's
scared of you? This guy's scary.
Pullo is so scary. I'll just spoil a tiny part. You won't know when it's coming probably, but he has an interaction with a guy, and the guy's like, "We don't have to fight here today. No one has to die, Pullo." And Pullo goes, "You're right." And they shake hands, and Pullo headbutts him and then grabs him and pries his mouth apart with both his hands, bites the man's tongue out in front of all of his men, spits it at him, and then charges into them with his sword, and all of his men follow in behind him while the main guy lays there choking on his blood because he just got his tongue bitten out. It was so awful.
Oh, shit.
I was just like, that's the most hardcore thing I've seen in a minute. That was pretty rough. And then later on, I
forgot about that scene.
Some other characters asking him because they're catching up. Been years since they've seen each other. Hey, what happened? Well, we had a big fight. Yeah, what happened? Well, I pretended like I was going to agree, and then I headbutted him and bit his tongue out. And he goes, "You bit his tongue out?" "Sure did. Tasted like chicken." And they have a big laugh about it. It's great. I love that.
It'd be hard to bite my tongue out. I feel like I'd pull it in.
Well, yeah, I feel he's really getting in there. Like he gets up, one hand on the bottom teeth and one hand on the top teeth and pries the guy. And he also is a bit concussed from the headbutt, so he gets in there. It doesn't seem like the first time
he wouldn't have tried that shit with Taylor. He wouldn't have lost the headbutt battle and then tried to pry his jaw open. Good luck with that.
I'd have gotten fucking 8 fingers as a snack.
Just spitting fingertips at him.
Who you're fucking with?
Just would have destroyed him. I told you, my dentist is blown away by the size of my masseter muscles. He said, "You have the largest masseter muscles I've seen on someone," which is the jaw muscles, because I spent my entire childhood and adolescence up until like 27, 28 years old, grinding our teeth so hard in the middle of the night that they just got big.
So I bet there's somewhere with a bite force measurement system. I've seen those. It would be interesting. Try it. Yeah,
my teeth are fake though, so I wouldn't want to go all out biting it. I don't want to break my teeth.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, hopefully it's like squishy, like a mouth guard. You would bite hard with a mouth guard, like a hockey mouth guard.
Yeah.
You think that would do well at an arcade, like instead of the punching machine, the biting machine?
If you win, you get 100 tickets at Hep C.
It's like, this game is disgusting.
because historically, if you weren't at least good at something as a man, you
you've been
probably
fucked.
weren't going to have any children and pass your DNA along for one reason or another. You had to be good at something. But as a lady,
Yeah.
Solid.
Are you there?
I
That's
saw
true.
women complaining about men competing in their sport. They said it was absolutely unfair and that we can't, like, if this trans woman, born a man, now a woman, is competing against us, it's not fair. But that sport was fishing. And I'm like, why are men better at fishing? Why do women think it's not even fair to compete against men in fishing?
Not even close how much better men are at fishing.
It was freshwater fishing, mind you. It's not like they were catching giant marlin.
That's the hard kind. The deep water fishing's easy. You're just like, let's wait. The freshwater's when they're doing all those fancy casts and picking the right bait for the sun and the water and the cover and the fish. Like that's.
I just imagine bringing in a marlin might give a strength advantage to a guy, but if the fish weighs 6 pounds or 4 pounds, then women are strong enough.
Men just tend to obsess over things much, much more, and so any hyper specific hobby, you're gonna have way, way more men than women who are interested in it. Like I would imagine, and also you're right about the ancestor thing. Like I think we have like tons of men just throughout history just did not fuck and have kids. Tons.
Here's the thing. You ever hear someone
did.
say, "Yeah, he's just talented at that thing." You know why? Because his great grandfather was talented at that thing, and that means he got to fuck a lot. There's a lot of people who are talented at jumping because their ancestors were too, and the guys who weren't good at jumping just couldn't get away from that thing, or maybe they just couldn't catch a woman to her. Frankly, it might have been that. You
think Thor Bjornsson was the first strong guy in his family? Like
lineage?
No, he came from a whole line of absolute monsters. Like you go
they're
back
taller than him. His brothers are taller.
Years. Yeah, you go back 400 years, and he's like storming a monastery on the coast of England.
God. He would be. He's like a superpower in a world where you don't have machinery and and electronics and stuff. Like he shows up. Twice as 3 times, 4 times as strong as any other human being. Like the doors can't stop him. He's so big.
I wonder what he'd look like without steroids.
Kenyon's rocket.
Let's agree he'd be just as tall and he'd be very strong.
Right.
But without steroids, how big would he be?
He wouldn't. I mean, he'd still be that tall and
like ancient Viking Thor. Like I think he'd be the perfect big for smashing people, like whatever that would be.
For stealing golden crucifixes from
God,
from religious sites.
His body is not the ideal for fighting.
No, it's the ideal for moving weight.
I don't know what fighting meant for them though. Like I don't think it meant squaring up necessarily as much as it meant chasing people down with an axe.
Yeah,
and just the Vikings would just roll up on your shore, and you didn't know you had trouble with Vikings. You might not even know what a Viking is. You may have never seen a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white dude that's 6'2", but there he is with all of his buddies. They just rolled up and they're here, and they don't want to talk. Like they're hacking the door down, screaming in fucking Scandinavian.
I imagine a Roman skilled with a spear beats him. Picture they
did
the poison guy from Game of Thrones.
The
played
Red
Last
Viper
of Us.
Thorn. Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, all right. His character, I think, could beat Thor. There's some dude like that was just agile.
Interestingly enough,
that's
have you seen the whole trend of people being the girls ask their boyfriends, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? And
yes,
they're like, I don't know, like a couple times a week, maybe. But what you just mentioned, like the Romans conquered all of the Germanic Celtic people, all of Gaul, which was Eastern Europe. Like they conquered or Western Europe. They conquered all of that, and those were those people. I don't know how long that campaign went on for, but they were just. It's some of the things the Romans did are so wild. They just went to the other side of the world with tens of thousands of men. They bring like 80,000 soldiers and go conquer a continent and then build a road back and start taxing and shipping the gold home. And they just kept doing that until they owned so much of the world. It was So I guess I think about
the most
Empire a couple times a week.
Yeah, at least a couple times a week. It's the coolest empire ever.
I should think about Rome more because I don't know anything.
Yeah, Rome is so cool. 117. That's the peak of their expansion, I believe, right?
Like obviously I'm the least knowledgeable geography wise, but I know that's fucking England up there in the top left.
Yeah.
That's,
Looks like they've got
that's
Babylon and Britain. That's a big span. And unlike
I-
that nonsense where they're like, look at Genghis Khan's empire. It's like, you mean just a trail with burnt villages and no infrastructure and no
Mm, I
don't know
production
about that, but
and a bunch
this
of
was
like
this was a machine though that
this
they
was
had.
an empire. Like
Every one of those provinces is shipping gold by road and ship back to Rome. It's a machine. It was, and it's. I really like anything about Rome. I wish there was it's a shame that that TV show failed.
they should do more Rome historical shows. Those would slay.
There's a
with
really good one on
popularity.
Netflix. There's a really good like Rome multi-episode, like the history of Rome. It's very
Spartacus.
good. Spartacus
Yeah,
is
but-
good. I mean, it is fairly
There's probably
historical.
better
It
stuff
happened.
on YouTube.
Wait. You said Spartacus was good. Did you watch it to the end?
I watched one.
Disregard that.
Look,
the last
again, I'm good at
instance.
reading books by covers. I could tell that I didn't want to watch that new guy, so I watched the first season, then the second season, which is like the prequel. And I
Mhm.
disengaged because I knew it wasn't going to be good from there. I could tell, I could see it.
Yeah,
The
then that
writing
guy
was on the
died.
wall. The man
It-
died.
Mhm.
It ended really bad. Like, and the fight scenes that you like, I enjoyed the fight scenes in the beginning. It was a different way to do videography around a fight. By the end, they just took it. It was like, all right, there's trouble, and they all start moving in slow mo with blood splatters on the screen, and it got super bad.
Yeah, it's but for anyone who wants to see like another titty period piece, my goodness, seasons 1 and 2 of Spartacus, you'll never see as much cock and titty in a regular TV show ever. I think Showtime made it. Real good show, but
Maybe. It's got Cinemax vibes.
yeah, it's got
Yeah.
I'm spacing out her name, but fucking Xena is in there top.
Lucy Lawless, am I
Lucy
right?
Lawless, New Zealand
Okay.
actress. Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
that sucks. He died at 39 from cancer.
I
Ugh.
thought it was the one of the lymphomas.
Non-Hodgkin lymphoma.
Yeah, that's the bad one, I guess.
I mean, they're both probably bad.
You don't even mind the other kind. You're just like, do I have that too?
Do I have that too? Is that your response to it? Oh, rats! I've got lymphoma.
Not again.
It's going to ruin my
I
weekend.
have seasonal lymphoma.
Seasonal lymphoma.
It really flares up around the
I have
springtime.
seasonal affective lymphoma. I get in a bad mood and die.
No, that guy was pretty cool. I don't recall his name. I do remember though
Andy
that
Whitfield.
at the height of that show, I was Spartacus is a great show. And then he was in a Freddie W video, which is really cool. And then he died like soon thereafter, it felt like. So as soon as I kind of became interested in him and wanted to watch more of his shit, he literally died.